But the other thing that the story made me think of was our mutual friend Jae who's done a lot of great reporting in the last couple of months for the American Lawyer. She puts out the power rankings for AmLaw every year. And she wrote about Bionic Boutiques. This is her prediction that in the next 5 years, you will see, and I think, the last year or so has been pretty stressful in big law world in particular, that you will see big law firm partners who just want to practice at the top of their license and do really sophisticated work and no longer really need the brand name of a big firm, start their own firm, and she calls them Bionic Boutiques, with a handful of other, professionals they want to work with, lawyers they want to work with. And smartly, Jay's always thinking about how do we work within the bounds of the system that we have to make change. And here, in light of the regulation, the way that you do that is you sort of automate everything on the business side and allow the lawyers to just practice law. And I know you were really taken as well with some of Jay's predictions for the future.
Yeah, it's a great piece. I recommend it. And she thinks that that we're underestimating how much change we'll see in the sort of medium to long term, and maybe overestimating how much change we'll see in the short term. But the change that she sort of predicts, these like billion-dollar law firms, I think she said. Am I using the right number?
Yeah, $1 billion.
I think that's right. I think she's like predicting.
And $10,000 an hour billable rates.
Hours? Yeah.
$10 million profit per partner.
Yep. But with a army of agents to do kind of the lower level work. And I mean, first of all, Jay is brilliant and has been, has more insight into like the business of law than basically anybody I know. I feel like she's like the go-to person on that.
Totally.
So whatever she says, I'm like, that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, I just bring a notepad when I see Jay.
Exactly.
I should probably just bring ChatGPT voice mode.
But I can sort of see it because, I mean, why wouldn't you, if you're the Bionic Boutique partner, and you have a bunch of agents who you can train on all of your knowledge that's on all of your prior work product. And so you can have like a subscription model for all of your clients to get information up to a certain point when they need to talk to you, the Bionic Lawyer. You can there's like new ways of leveraging, in other words. Like the old leverage model does feel like really old given this technology, but there are new leverage models. And I don't know if that's good or bad.
I guess it depends on who you are,
yeah.
Right? If you're the $10 million profit
maybe it's
partner
good.
lawyer, it's good.
If
you're the junior lawyer, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I just interviewed Jay, and she talked about her predictions and how she makes them to sort of change the framing of the conversation to be a little audacious, so people are talking about it in new ways. But I don't actually think it's that far off. If you are the GC of a major global company and you have a major tax issue, you would probably be happy to pay whatever it costs to get the best tax attorney in the world to advise you. What you don't want to spend money on is the leverage model that's baked in underneath of that partner's current role at big law. And if you're the big law partner, all the headaches that go with trying to practice in a business model that is increasingly under strain, I would imagine you also feel the strain of that and would love to break free from it and just practice.
And I assume if you're the billion-dollar Bionic Lawyer, you have all these like agents to like help test your ideas for, like, if you're trying to solve that like extremely important high-value tax problem, you have all these like agents like helping you stress test it, stress test your solutions. So,
and that's probably the regulatorily safe business bet that a young junior person could help with, right? Like come in and be the head of AI transformation at your Bionic Boutique to be,
right? And
work with the smartest tax attorney in the world to figure out what agents they would need and then go build them for them.
Yeah.
That could be very cool.
Yeah.
So all of this, I wonder if this goes back to anything that we talked about with the changes happening in OpenAI, sort of the acceleration of commercialization of the platforms, people like Sam Altman moving on to do bigger things or different things. and the changing in the legal landscape. Do you think there's a connection across those different storylines or not yet?
I mean, I think there probably is, and I probably am not smart enough or don't know enough to fully understand it yet, but it feels to me like at least the technologists seem like I mean, we've been talking about this for a while, since we talked about like AI 2027 and all of the like December, January, February talk about AGI being, here sooner than we thought. And it almost feels like everybody's preparing for like the next phase of this, even though not everybody's even caught up on the current phase. And I still think like law is going to be a little slower to fully have it all move into the background. So it's just software that we don't think about, right? But not forever behind. I don't know. I mean, I do see OpenAI is now like doing these benchmarks across different disciplines. I mean, Ethan Mollick posted about one in the latest in healthcare. And like we talked a number of episodes ago about this one study that kind of evaluated doctors alone, doctors using ChatGPT and then just ChatGPT. And the latest reasoning models are just far and away better than either doctors using it or doctors alone. Like just not even close. Yikes. I mean, I'm sure there's like, that just means medical schools probably should figure out how to like law schools teach, future professionals how to use the technology to provide better service. But the fact that OpenAI is like starting to measure these things in these different industries feels like another sign like, hey guys, this is happening. It's time to, come along for the ride.
I think you're right that legal is always going to be slower to change. But when we talk about legal being slow to change, the thing we've been talking about so far are the people who currently populate legal.
Yeah.
And we are slower to change for lots of reasons, good, bad, neutral. But I wonder, I think the legal services market now is about $400 billion a year of a market. And that is, as we know, only responsive to 10% of civil legal needs in the U.S.
Yeah.
So that's an underestimate by a lot of what could be made in the legal services landscape. Yeah. And so I wouldn't be surprised if people who are not part of our profession, people like the new CEO of applications at OpenAI, are thinking about like, how do we get into this market?
Yeah.
And maybe because we're so slow to change, that makes us even more vulnerable to disruption there. Like we might not even see it happen or see it coming.
Yeah.
And to your point about Uber, then it's like, what do the regulators do then when you have this new sharp talent at the head of OpenAI and they're moving into a totally commercial space and they're a public benefits corporation? I can't imagine anything that would benefit the public more than actually having access to legal services. All of those shifts to me means that we could be like watching the profession change from the sidelines because we weren't prescient enough or open enough to innovation all along.
I keep saying this like every time I give one of these talks on this, like it is inevitable. Like I don't hear people like fight anymore about like whether it's like real or happening. But if it's inevitable, like who do you want making decisions about the future of our profession? Shouldn't it be us? Like I feel like it should be us, not you and me. Although we could be part of it. But I just mean, the people who care about the profession and the role it can serve in a constitutional democracy. So yeah.
Well, that's a great note to end on. I think this has been a really wide-ranging discussion today.
All over the map,
literal map, figurative map. But thank you so much for being here in Philadelphia. This is delightful. Thanks to Aaron and Video City Productions for hosting us. Love this studio. And that's all I have to say for today. Any closing thoughts, Bridget?
No, so fun to do it in person, though. We'll have to do it again soon.
Absolutely. And until then, we wish you all well, and we'll see you next time on 2030 Vision, AI and the Future of Law. Take care. Thank you for tuning in to 2030 Vision, AI and the Future of Law. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast and leave a review. Stay informed and inspired as we continue to explore the AI-driven future of the legal profession. We'll see you next time.